Hey guys, ZFR here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my first impressions for The Witcher 3. Now, this game has been getting a lot of criticism in the wrong places, I feel like. I'm not trying to be a fanboy. I'm not trying to stick up for the game, because the game does have flaws. Like, don't get me wrong, the game definitely has flaws. It's not a perfect game. There's nothing perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect game, in my opinion. I haven't seen one yet. Not even The Last of Us was 100% perfect. But anyway, getting into this game, like, I just kind of want to talk about some of the stuff I've been hearing about the game and how I feel on these topics. Like, alright, so let's talk about the biggest thing I've heard from a couple of YouTubers. I'm not going to say any names, but some of you might know who I'm talking about. And I'm not disagreeing with these people at all, but just let me say what I have to say. Now, I've heard from a lot of people, from a lot of YouTubers, or a couple now at least, that this game, I've heard them say this game is very boring. Alright, um, yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, the first 2 or 3 hours of the game do start off kind of slow compared to once you start to get into the later part of the game. The first couple hours really do start the game off slow. I will admit that. But at a certain point, at least at the point in the game I'm in now, like, it doesn't seem boring at all to me. Like, I will admit, those first few hours of the game, like those first 2 or 3 hours, are a little slow. Like, I think if you get into it, like, it's not really, I wouldn't call it boring, but it's compared to the rest of the game, I guess it is kind of boring the first few hours. But it depends on how much you threw yourself into it. And I mean, even if you're trying as hard as you can, which I hope you're not, you shouldn't try too hard, but, and you still don't really feel like the game is interesting, it might just be not the game for you, to be honest, because I'll be the first to say that this game isn't for everybody, alright? I feel like most people are going to have to really open their mind for this game, because I feel like this game it kind of feels like it's standing on its own, because a lot of people haven't actually played The Witcher 2 or The Witcher 1 or even read the books. There's a lot of people out there that are getting this game or that haven't played those. But to be honest, I think the game is pretty interesting for the most part. I don't think it's boring like that. Like I said, first few hours, yeah, you can expect those to be kind of boring, because there is a lot of dialogue in the first couple hours of the game, and there's like not as much combat as once you start to get into the deeper part of the game. But once you get deeper into the game, once you get out of that first area they kind of start you off in, and they kind of have you running around doing the new quests and all this, like, just kind of preparing you for the rest of the game. Once you actually get out there and start doing, man, listen, this game is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having fun with this game, guys. I really am. Let's talk about the combat, because that's pretty much what you see me practicing in the background. This is at the beginning of the game, sort of. But anyway, pretty much, in the background, like, there's the combat is like way more complicated than I was expecting, to be honest. I was expecting one button to attack with, and I was expecting to be able, I already knew you could do this with the magic signs and stuff, but I wasn't expecting it to be as complicated as it was. Don't get me wrong, it's not like confusing, but it is a lot more than I thought in there. It's not to the point where it's confusing though. Like, I think it's easy enough to remember, but the only thing is it's gonna take you an hour or two of actually fighting and using stuff in combat to actually get used to the way the combat works. Because to be honest, it really is challenging combat. So you gotta get used to that. But I really have fun with the combat. I heard people even say the combat is kind of boring in the game. I don't think so. Like, it's different from any other game, I would say. I feel like I haven't felt a game that handles combat quite like this one does. I'll say it's different, and I can understand if you don't like it because of that. But I say the combat's pretty good in this game. It's pretty challenging. It seems like they want to make sure the game is hard enough for you. Like, I was playing on normal, and I'm still like kind of struggling. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm killing stuff faster. I'm moving along faster since it's on normal. But it seems like I'm still running into a lot of enemies who are higher level than me and everything. And the only reason I don't have the game on hard is so I can finish my walkthrough a little bit faster. That's the only reason I haven't set it to hard. Because you guys know I'm all up for the challenge of it. But anyway, like, so far, like, the game does seem challenging enough. Like, it seems like they want to keep you a level under the enemies, or they want you to run into more powerful enemies. Seem like I'm really having fun, like, when I run into like some of the more exotic enemies, like the wraiths you see me fighting in the background. Like, when I fight like some weird monster enemies or something like this, I find it really interesting and awesome. When I fight the human enemies, it's cool too, but it's not as interesting as fighting like the monsters and stuff in the game. But anyway, that's like one of the biggest parts of The Witcher, like fighting monsters. That's really the whole point of the word The Witcher. So, but yeah, and pretty much the story. Just giving you guys, my little first impression on the story. I think the story's pretty interesting so far. I've heard people say the script is boring. Like, uh, I don't think the script is boring. I think it's actually kind of interesting. I think the way it's stated and some of the way it's voiced and said can kind of give the impression it's boring. But I feel like for the most part, I feel like it's a good script, or at least good enough. Like, to me, like, the script isn't complete trash. All right. I'm not saying it's the best script I heard. Don't get me wrong. It's not like on the level of something like The Last of Us or anything in terms of script, but like it's good enough to hold the game up. I feel like but what else? But come on, what was it? Were any of you actually expecting a heavy script for an RPG? To be honest, like, I feel like some people kind of mistook what kind of game The Witcher 3 was going to be. This is an RPG, alright? Like, this is like an open world game, like, where you're gonna have to go around, you're gonna have to upgrade and craft stuff, and you're gonna have to do all these different side quests and everything, alright? So it's not like, I think a lot of people were just expecting this to be like a cool open world game, and that's kind of it. But I mean, it's a lot more to that. There's so much to do in this world. And speaking of the open world, it's huge, guys. Like, I mean, the maps are, there are like 4 different maps. One of them's just a king's palace, the inside of it, so that's nothing to go crazy about. But the other 3 maps are huge. I would say, I feel like the starting area is somewhere around the same size as GTA, I would say. I'm not sure if the starting area is bigger than GTA's map or not. It might be a little bit, but as for the other 2 areas, I think those are bigger. I think those are definitely bigger than GTA map. And the thing about this open world, there's plenty going on in it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm constantly getting myself into something. I'm finding enemies in the wilderness. Like, here, towards, I think it's going to be somewhere towards the end of this video. You're going to see me while I'm riding through the woods. I actually stumble into one of the hardest bosses I've faced so far in this game. I think it's called the Forest Spear or something like that. It's like this tree monster with antlers and everything who can control the animals in the forest. And you pretty much really don't want to run into that thing. Like, it one-shot at me because it's way higher level than I am. But anyway, guys, like, I think the enemies are really great. I think they're really diverse, and you have to know different things for every enemy. Like, you really have to try to prepare yourself for some of these fights, or you just won't come out on top. Like I said, keeping the challenge high there. I already talked about the combat. I said I think that's pretty good as well. And so far the games is seeming awesome to me. There is crafting, like you can craft new armor and items and potions and all of this stuff to help you. I haven't really gotten into the alchemy system, which is crafting potions and stuff. I haven't gotten into that too much. I seem to be struggling to find some of the ingredients. I guess you kind of have to wait till the game introduces you to them, because I'm not that far into the story, I'm guessing. Like, because the story, from last time I heard from the developers, the story is supposed to be about 50 hours long, and I've only played, I'll say, about 5 or 6 hours of the story so far. So, you know, I'm nowhere near close to finishing the actual story yet. But yeah, there's a lot, there's plenty to do in the game, guys. Like, this is a really interesting game. I feel like people are kind of judging it a little too fast. Like, I think people have forgotten how big the game actually is. Like, for all those people who are saying it's boring, you have to play more. Like, I know it's just first impressions coming out now. Like, people haven't started releasing reviews or nothing, but you have to play more of the game. All right. And that was actually the enemy right there that I was talking about. I ran straight past him because I wasn't trying to take that L on camera like that. But anyway, guys, like, I mean, I think the game's great so far. I'm having fun with it, and I think that's all it really matters. I feel like sometimes people get a little too focused on, like, the smaller stuff in the game. Like, for instance, the graphics. I've heard people talk about those a lot, about a huge downgrade. And to be honest, for the type of game The Witcher 3 is, for the size of this game, the size and scope of it, I think this game is excused in the graphics department. To be honest, I'm kind of shocked it looks as good as it does, to be honest with you. Do you see how big this game is? And they still managed to pull off some pretty good graphics, in my opinion. They're definitely some of the better graphics on PS4, I would say. I wouldn't say like they're beating stuff like Killzone Shadowfall, The Last of Us, or Bloodborne or anything like that, but I would say they're good enough for the type of game this is. Like, they're not bad graphics at all. Like, and I think anyone who obsesses over graphics, I think you're playing video games for the wrong reason. Like, people have talked about the frame rate. I have one frame drop, like, way back in the beginning of the game, but I see everybody actually having that same frame drop from videos I've seen. It seems like everybody's getting that. But honestly, besides that, I haven't experienced a frame rate drop since. Like, it's been running pretty smooth for me, which kind of surprises me. Like I said at the beginning, there are flaws in the game. It's not perfect at all. Like, for instance, I feel like the movement speed for Geralt is a little too fast. Like, I think they can do this a little bit better. They can fix that, I feel like. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and end this here because I feel like this video is a little too long already. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. ZFR out.